Well, the weather in Greensboro has gotten just a little bit better after the ice storm over the last 24 hours here at the ACC Women's Tournament. For 2014, it is the quarterfinals and day 3 from Tournament Town, the 15th straight year for the Women's ACC Tournament here at the Greensboro Coliseum. Our matchup tonight for Game 1 of the evening session, it's the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets against the Duke Blue Devils. And it is so great to have you with us for our games of the evening session. I'm Tom Wormy. Debbie and Mike will be along with the call of all the action coming up a little bit later. As for Duke, it is the defending champion in this tournament. In fact, they have won 3 of the last 4 ACC titles, angling themselves towards a potential Final Four as well, but some injuries have cropped up for this team, especially Chelsea Gray, who for the second straight year out with an injury and lost for the season. Then you move to February 23rd, and her teammate Alexis Jones, who was the MVP of the tournament a season ago, out with an ACL injury, that against Notre Dame. So those particular injuries to those 2 players unavailable, challenging the 8-time champions here at the ACC tournament. As for Georgia Tech, the news is good for Michelle Joseph. A 1-point win yesterday against Virginia, 77-76, the all-time leading scorer in the history of Georgia Tech basketball. That's Ty Marshall. She came up with 26 points and 10 rebounds, the double-double in the winning effort to move them along in the tournament bracket. Well, we got a couple of games already completed here on quarterfinal Friday. NC State and Syracuse, the Wolfpack in the white, and that's Markeisha Gatling. 28 points, a new career high, 13 of 20 from the floor, but you see right there, she clutches the left knee. She had to leave the game and would not return. NC State, however, gets its 25th win of the season and takes out Syracuse 79-63 to advance to the semifinals. Cody Burke chipping in with 21 points as well for NC State. On to the second game of the day, and it's Florida State against Notre Dame. The undefeated Fighting Irish. They move the ball so well, they scored so well. Over 85 points per game on average. In this game against Florida State, 24 assists on 32 made baskets. And guess what? The Fighting Irish 30-0 and moving on to the semifinals for Muffet McGraw. They win it 83-57 over Florida State. So here is that updated bracket. NC State moving on with the win against Syracuse. Notre Dame knocks out Florida State. Duke, Georgia Tech, Maryland, and North Carolina all trying to earn spots in the semifinals at the ACC Women's Tournament. One other note for you. Duke has won 36 consecutive games against the Jackets dating back to 1995. All the action of the evening session is straight ahead from Greensboro. Starting to clear, maybe a glimmer of sunshine as well here in Greensboro, North Carolina. The third game of the day, the Yellow Jackets and the Blue Devils with the honor of moving on to the semifinals in this 2014 ACC Women's Tournament. And to call all of the action of our third game of the day as we move into the evening, it's Debbie Antonelli and Mike Hogwood.
Thanks a lot, Tom. And Tom talked, Debbie, about the point guards that have all gotten hurt for Duke. They're pretty much out of them, and that means Tricia Liston has had to change her role a little bit for this Duke team.
You know, she had to play the point last year when they suffered the Chelsea Gray injury, and again, she has the capability and her skill set to be able to manage from the point as long as it doesn't affect her scoring, and so far it has not. She's one of the top scorers in the ACC. She's the best three-point shooter in the league and one of the top shooters in the nation. As long as she can still find some shots, hunting shots against that Georgia Tech defense, though, will be challenging.
Debbie, when these two teams played in early January, Kayla Davis had her season low of 2 points. Georgia Tech only scored 47 points. She's our hardy star to watch.
There hasn't been many freshmen, Mike, that have come to this tournament and have been able to put 28 points in their first game. She went 10 for 18, combined with Ty Marshall yesterday in the win over Virginia with 54 points.
And she is in the Toyota starting lineup. Ty Marshall, who's the all-time scorer, over 2,000 points as the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and they got their 20th win last night. The Duke Blue Devils, who have 25 wins to their credit, and getting her first start of the season, Kalia Johnson, who has come off the bench in every game, getting the start after a solid game against North Carolina in the final regular season game of the year. Now let's check in with Christy Winter-Scott.
Hey, Mike, you know the mention of the lights being out last night, and everyone knows that the weather has been bad around here. The lights are currently running at a 50% power level, which means they are on backup. So if these lights drop, it would only take 4 minutes to recharge them. If the backup lights drop, however, it will take 12 to 20 minutes, which was the issue last night, for everything to restart. So let's hope we have no issues with the electricity in the building, but we do know that Georgia Tech and Duke will bring the electricity to the court.
There's no doubt about that. Georgia Tech beat Virginia last night, and they barely beat them, 77-76. Shayla Bivens in the center jump circle against Elizabeth Williams. Georgia Tech in their old gold, and Duke in the white jerseys. Duke the higher seed, number 2.
The big question will be, can Duke manage Georgia Tech's changing multiple look defenses? They are a pressure team. They play up the line, and they're very aggressive.
That's a great pass from Elizabeth Williams to Rishae Jackson, the senior from Oklahoma.
And there's one answer to that question. Watch the double team rotate over to Williams, and she drops it down. Kayla Davis is supposed to drop down on that backside. She's late getting there. It's a layup and one opportunity.
Jackson has been in double figures 6 of her last 8 games. She's been playing well offensively.
This is a big matchup zone, a point zone with Haley Peters at the top. Every player on the floor is over 6 feet tall.
Here's Ty Marshall, number 15. Spectacular player, spectacular career at Georgia Tech.
And while all the conversation, Mike, is about Duke missing their point guards, Georgia Tech is missing theirs as well. Sydney Wallace not available to play with concussion-like symptoms.
That means that Dawn May got the start today. It's only her 3rd start of the year, number 1 in gold.
And the problem for Georgia Tech is she's their best three-point shooter. So against this zone, they're missing Sydney Wallace to be able to knock down triples against that zone.
Yeah, they're missing almost 10 points a game from Sydney Wallace. Inside Williams over Bivens. Shayla Bivens, I thought, played very well against Virginia last night. Had 6 points.
Yeah, two minutes, 2 fouls in the first half, and then in the second half she really came alive and was a presence on the baseline. So you have to attack Elizabeth Williams on the inside because she's a terrific shot blocker. So you've got to get into her body and make her defend.
How about Bivens, the offensive rebound and the putback? This is a different Shayla Bivens than we've seen. Started every game, but only averages 14 minutes a game. Liston's open. What a three-point shooter Tricia Liston is. Over 50% on the season.
This is the best three-point shooting team in the nation. They shoot at over 41%, almost 42, Hog. And Tricia Liston is the best three-point shooter in the nation. You can't ever lose her in the quarter court defensively.
50% from 3, that's something. 83s on the season for Liston. High low to Bivens. Bivens does a good job drawing the foul.
Now Liston is on the weak side where you can't see her right now. Now watch how the ball rotates. Look at all the Georgia Tech defense. They're all ball watching. And Liston, the best three-point shooter, is a skip pass away with her feet set, steps into it and knocks it down. Good find by Duke, throwing over the top of that Georgia Tech pressure.
Now the free throw line has been an adventure for Bivens this year. As she hits that, she is 29%.
Hog, you could at least shoot 50% with your left hand.
Maybe.
I know you could.
Hit 1 and 2 and then got the loose ball.
You see, that's knowing your own teammates too, because every Georgia Tech player knew that that ball was coming off the rim to rebound it.
May spins in the paint. Dawn May, again getting just her 3rd start of the year with Wallace out.
The quickness factor and the athleticism is going to go to Georgia Tech. Can they use that to create extra possessions? Remember, Duke's the number 10 team in the country.
Nice feed that time. It was Jackson to Williams.
That's terrific interior passing by Duke. Elizabeth Williams has to have a big game on the inside.
First time these two teams played, Williams had 18 points and 11 rebounds. Solid double-double. And The three goes by Kayla Davis. We were talking about our star to watch. She was just 1 for 9 from three the first time these two teams played.
She hit 4 threes in the first half last night with the hot hand. Off to a good start with her first basket.
Ended up with 28 points in the win over Virginia. Leah Johnson, we talked to Joanne P. McCauley before the game, said she could say nothing but good things about her getting the first start of the season here tonight.
Well, she's coming off her career high 12 points and a career high 29 minutes in the Duke loss 64-60 to North Carolina in their last outing.
Johnson Jr. from Chester, Virginia.
You got to be ready when your number is called, and Kalia Johnson was ready for the North Carolina game.
And you know, we've seen that in this tournament. We saw earlier today Breezy Williams of NC State come up big.
That's exactly who I was thinking of, Hog. A lot of people asking us about Markeisha Gatling, who suffered a knee injury. 28 points in 25 minutes in that win by NC State over Syracuse. We have not received any word from NC State officially on her status yet.
I'll tell you what, NC State's had more than their share. Bad luck. They'll be playing Notre Dame in one semifinal tomorrow. There's Marshall, her first points.
Great flash to that ACC. When that matchup zone, that's where you want to try to break down that Duke defense.
Marshall leads this Georgia Tech team in points, rebounds, and steals. And that steal taken away by Rodrika Rogers.
You know, you can really collapse that defense on the interior, but make sure you know where Liston is.
Deep three, Davis. It'll still belong to Georgia Tech. Early here in quarterfinal Friday, game number 3, 2-point lead by the Yellow Jackets. 14:17 to go in the first half. Alexis Jones wishes she was not laying out on that bench, was out there playing. She went down on February 23rd against Notre Dame, and look, without Jones in the lineup, the numbers are dramatically different.
Well, the team changed when Chelsea Gray went out, and now the team is changing again without Alexis Jones, because those two players, both point guards, can make plays for others. They can break down the defense off the bounce. They can get inside the D and make a play. Duke doesn't have that playmaking ability the same without them.
Three, Davis, got it!
Uh-oh.
Second three for Kayla Davis, and again she had 28 last night. 4 threes. Leads all ACC rookies in scoring.
And you use Elizabeth Williams to help break pressure.
Can't hit the layup, but draws the foul. Debbie, you were talking about that offense. Duke on the year still averages almost 82 points a game. But I don't think that's what we'll see with this kind of lineup on the floor.
You're going to see more of a low possession, not as up-tempo. Certainly run when the opportunity's there, but maybe maximize their opportunities offensively a little bit more.
More on the absence of Alexis Jones at the point. Let's go over to Christy.
Well, without Alexis Jones running things, it's been only 2 games, and Joanne McCauley said before the game that it's going to take time for the chemistry to unfold, so they want to play more basketball. They need to get in a better rhythm and change what they need to on the offensive end.
That means they have to win to play more games.
Davis again, not that time. Marshall gets the loose ball. Georgia Tech, another possession. By the way, Shayla Bivens a moment ago picked up her second foul. She's gone to the bench. Davis can't hit it. Marshall offensive rebound.
Good transition defense by Georgia Tech. They pressure the rebounder. They get back and set up. Now Duke's got to score against their pressure. Georgia Tech is switching in their man-to-man.
Mariah Taylor, number 11, on the floor now for the Yellow Jackets, and shooting over Taylor is Richey Jackson, and Taylor's going to pick up her first foul.
Both Bivens and Taylor have a lot of size, but right here, just move your feet and contest. Don't try to block that shot. That is a very difficult shot to make. Now, Rashae Jackson is known for that spin move in the middle of the floor, but it's still a challenging shot.
Duke struggling early from the free throw line, now just 2 of 5. Jackson not a great shooter on the year, 58%. She's a player that's had to come back from injury. Tore her ACL a couple of years ago, and really took over a year for her to get fully healthy.
Good job by Duke to get back, set up their zone.
In the middle of it, Whiteside. Rebound, Rashae Jackson. And there are times where Jackson will be out and play the point, and she's doing that.
Everybody's got to take some responsibility now. Just the lead guard. We won't call them point guards. We'll call them the lead guard for Duke. How's that?
Got it. Like the title. Michelle Joseph in her 11th season and another 20-win year for Georgia Tech. She really has this program in good shape. 7
in a row, Mike. She really has. 7. This will be their 7th consecutive NCAA tournament.
Former great player at Purdue, Michelle Joseph. A lot of fire and intensity.
She can make a cup of coffee nervous, Mike.
Yeah. Not a good pass there. Marshall able to save it. 3 to shoot. Davis will take it. Taylor had it, got bumped. Odara Cheatham, who just came into the game, freshman from Oakland, California, picks up her first.
There's intensity right there with a game plan and ready to make adjustments. And, they really want to make Duke work. They've got to, Duke doesn't have the same amount of depth. You got to make them expend some energy early.
Something happened to Elizabeth Williams. The trainer maybe has a bloody nose over there. Jackson has the ball stripped away. There it is. She's had to come out of the game.
Right now, Georgia Tech fouling the shooter too much. Duke getting to the free throw line. And, ironically, the best three-point shooting team in the nation is not an overall very good free throw shooting team. And certainly that's another thing missing Chelsea Gray and Alexis Jones. They're both good free throw shooters, especially in a late game situation.
There's Chelsea Gray. Duke 67% from the line on the year. Shea Jackson hit that one. Duke has not had a field goal since the 17:03 mark. Offensive rebound by Cheatham. Nobody blocked her out. Missed the easy bucket. Inside Taylor.
Foul has been charged to Duke at number 32, Tricia Liston.
Liston picks up her first foul.
Number 3.
Williams coming back in for Duke.
2 hands on the ball handler. That's Dawn May's game. She's not going to set out there and shoot a jump shot. You got to close out longer on her and keep her from driving by you.
Dawn May leads his team in assists. Kimberly Ellison doesn't get a lot of playing time, is in for Georgia Tech, number 5. Only played in 10 games all year. Taken away by the freshman. Cheatham just took that ball away. And Cheatham's going to be fouled and go to the line.
Again, fouling the shooter at Georgia Tech. You know that spin move is coming. It's a part of the scouting report on Rashae Jackson. You just can't foul her.
Debbie, that foul's on Taylor, so now Taylor and Bivens each have 2 fouls.
Now you need to go inside to Elizabeth Williams. Let her go to work. The very first time she touched the ball, Georgia Tech collapsed and double teamed her. She made a play out of it. You can play to her and you can play through her. She's a very willing passer out of the double team.
Duke pulls within one on the 2 free throws by the freshman Cheatham, who's played well in her last 2 games. And tough to stop that shot.
She may be the most unheralded senior in the country. With that mid-range, fall off the cliff jump shot. You kidding me, Hog? No one can guard it.
As we said, impossible to stop. Over 2,000 points in her career. Timeout, 11:39 to go in the first half. Georgia Tech hanging tough. Offense has been hard to come by for the Duke Blue Devils, who trail here early. 11:39 to go first half. Debbie, when you look around the country, the ACC is as good as anybody, and the rankings show it. 5 teams in the top 25, and all of them are in the top 15 in the country.
This is a tremendous senior class in the ACC. That's why almost every WNBA team is represented at this tournament. Scouting. And you take a look at the best teams are left. That's what we have. The top 4 seeds are all playing today, and we'll get Maryland and North Carolina coming up next.
Good matchups here in the 9th session, and Ciel Joseph deep on her bench a moment ago. Now Katarina Vukovic is into the game for the Yellow Jackets.
Well, Mike, you got 3 teams ranked in the top 10 in the ACC right now.
Into the shot clock, listing the deep 3, and good job by Kalia Johnson, earning her first start today. Johnson open for 3, got it!
Mike, Duke has missed 6 shots, and they have rebounded 6 shots.
That is only Johnson's 2nd 3-pointer of the season. It's amazing always to me to watch players who come alive in the 2nd season. Rogers.
She just double dribbled and got away with it.
Kalia Johnson. Not able to hit the runner as Liston. There's a whistle and a foul.
That's the way you have to defend Trisha Liston. You cannot let her set her feet. She's too good of a 3-point shooter. That shot that she took deep was on line. It was just a little bit short. You got to make her make plays with her feet, with the ball on the floor. And as good a scorer as she is, you have to take something away from her. Taking away the 3 is really important for Georgia Tech.
Deep 3 again, Davis. Oh my goodness.
Hands down, man down. It's a common practice. You can't put your hands down on a 3-point shooter. And here comes Georgia Tech picking up full court man.
Again, she was just 1 for 9 in the first meeting against Duke, and Davis 3 already here in the first half. She leads Georgia Tech in made 3s, and she has been a difference maker.
You got to give Trisha Liston a lot of credit, because she's not a natural point guard. In the last 2 years, because of injury, she's been forced to be the lead guard and manage their offense while not losing any of her scoring. She's had to come up with different ways to score, but you certainly can't foul. That's a bad play by Georgia Tech and Ty Marshall. You already got her under duress. Don't foul her.
And it was the 7th team foul. Duke's in the bonus.
And you put the ACC's 4th best free throw shooter in the history of the league by percentage on the line.
86% this season, pretty strong. And that draws Duke to within 1. Davis couldn't hit the runner, and I believe it'll belong to Duke. And here comes pressure from Georgia Tech again.
I like this full court man-to-man defense. You don't let Duke play off the pass, make them play off the bounce.
Look at Elizabeth Williams take it all the way. And feed Haley Peters for the bucket.
That's a big-time play by Williams. I didn't know she could handle 94 feet.
You don't expect that out of your player at the 5 position.
Not under pressure.
Elizabeth Williams, great shot blocker, great scorer. We just saw a great ball handler as well. May. Vukovic. Oh, Marshall got her shot blocked. Swatted away by a great shot blocker. Not a good pass from Kalia Johnson.
Elizabeth Williams, I have not seen her do this. And she's handling with her left hand. You gotta like that. Nice drop-off pass to Peters. And Ty Marshall, who is the best rebounding guard in the ACC and leads her team in rebounding. You got to give a little pump fake to the big-time shot blocker standing in the paint.
88 blocked shots on the year. Duke's opponents have blocked 77. And there's another one.
She got all the way out to the three-point line to block that shot. Tremendous.
Well, a couple of block shots have helped give Duke a little momentum. They've got the lead and the ball. Inside Cheatham. Good pass inside. Georgia Tech retakes the lead.
This is the tempo Georgia Tech wants, up and down. Making multiple people handle.
Inside Williams. Had a little mismatch with Davis. They saw it. Williams went right at her.
I love that they're going inside to her. Give her a chance to get established on the inside, especially with a smaller, less experienced post player defending her. Oh. What about that floater hog to avoid the contact and not charge?
Cheatham fouled by Vukovic. 7:25 to go here in the first half. Georgia Tech looking pretty good. That's Whiteside inside for 2 for the Yellow Jackets. We've got Michelle Joseph mic'd up tonight. It's quite a treat listening to her.
All right, everybody understand what we're doing. Okay, this 5 minutes, we gotta have it, okay? This 5 minutes, let's go. Yo, switch, switch, switch. Hey, tap. Gold, it's all 2-3. We're running chin, and stay on a miss. Chin, stay on a miss. Quit fouling, no fouling.
You know, when you start knocking on me sometime down here, I keep saying that to you. It doesn't do a bit of good.
I foul you all game,
Yeah,
Hog.
you do.
I foul out by
Quit
the first
fouling.
half some games, especially games like this that are so intense. You've got to be tough to play in this environment.
Well, Georgia Tech does have their 2 big post players, Nariah Taylor and Shayla Bivens, each with 2. And she's having a word with Karen Prado. Wesley Dean, Daryl Humphrey join her as our officials tonight. Cheatham at the line. She's now 3 for 3.
And Duke has 8 points from the free throw line. They have missed 8 shots, and they have rebounded 6 of them. Offensive rebounding was a key in this game for Duke.
We're tied for the 5th time here in this first half. Davis has 3 3-pointers for Georgia Tech. You see why she leads freshmen in the league in scoring.
See, Dawn May is an 80-20 point guard. 80% of the time she needs to be looking to pass when she gets to the paint. The other 20 she can look to shoot. She's taking shots that she wouldn't normally take.
Williams. Peters able to recover for Duke. Williams left it short. Cheatham travels.
Well, Duke is all over the offensive boards. No Georgia Tech player turning and boxing. They're all just jumping.
Gravy Cooper Kendall McCravey-Cooper, number 21 in the game.
No senior for Georgia Tech has ever beaten Duke. As a matter of fact, Mike, Georgia Tech has lost 36 in a row to Duke.
Back to 1994.
That's what I'm talking about.
Rogers has her shot blocked.
But that's what Dawn May needs to do. It's a good pass. It's a great defensive play.
Tell you what, though, Elizabeth Williams is tough to get a shot over in the paint. Now Williams on the offensive end scores over Rogers.
You got to push her back into help. She's too good one-on-one, and she's got the quickness and the size advantage on Rogers.
Well, you see why she's the defensive player of the year in the league, Elizabeth Williams. Five to shoot for Georgia Tech. Good pass to Rogers, had trouble getting the handle on it. They're not able to get a shot off. Duke comes up with it. Liston with only one field goal in this first half.
Three straight Defensive Player of the Year awards out of the ACC, picked by the coaches. She blocks the shot, and then look at how she works hard, posts up, shows numbers to the basketball. Does a nice job of using the underside of the rim to score. Now, here's something for Georgia Tech, Mike. You can't keep over-penetrating into that Duke shot-blocking size. With Ty Marshall back on the court, she's got that pull-up mid-range jump shot.
Good job, Georgia Tech. Not letting Duke get it inbounds, but on the drive, Ty Marshall is fouled. Kendall McCravey-Cooper commits the foul, the 6'4" freshman. Georgia Tech now has hit just 4 of their last 20 shots. They started 5 of 8. They have gone cold.
Oh, and last night, Kayla Davis and Ty Marshall for Michelle Joseph combined to go 21 for 42. That's outstanding shooting for guards.
Marshall had a great game when these two teams played. And we talked about Georgia Tech just 47. She had 18 points, 16 rebounds, and a double-double last night in the win over Virginia.
Duke is so good at breaking pressure by playing off the angles.
Liston puts it on the floor. Nice move, Tricia Liston.
See, and Bivens didn't want to foul. If you're going to run her off the three-point line, you better make sure you contain the penetration.
Nice defensive play by Kalia Johnson.
This is just smart right here. Dawn May, you want to make her put it on the floor. You close out short with high hands and make her put it on the bounce.
And last bucket by Liston gave Duke the lead at 26-24.
Tricia Liston is so smart about playing without the ball.
Not a good pass by the freshman that time. Marshall. Still belong to Georgia Tech. Just over 4 minutes to go in the half.
I'd run the same play, Mike, when you get the ball and reset offensively, because Ty Marshall has to get some touches and be able to work in the mid-range. She can get into that ACC area in the paint, flash to the middle, and collapse that D, or make a shot.
We'll show you a little bit more on that, Debbie, on your breakdown at halftime. Look forward to that.
Great personality Ty Marshall is. What a competitor.
She wants the ball in her hands. Good job by Whiteside, blocked again by Williams. Another block shot. Oh, my goodness. At the other end, Liston. And Duke's bringing the life.
Strong Liston on the finish, playing through the verticality.
First time Duke has had a 2-possession lead.
You can't let your poor shot selection lead to transition for Duke, and that's the last trip down for Georgia Tech. Poor shot selection.
Tied up. Arrow to Georgia Tech. Tricia Liston on the break after the great defensive play. And the Duke's leading scorer.
Welcome you back to Greensboro for the third game of quarterfinal Friday. Duke has built a 4-point lead as the defending champs here at the ACC tournament, and not even a bloody nose can stop Elizabeth Williams. She is the Defensive Player of the Year of the ACC. Once she goes to the bench, gets the proper treatment and attention, she goes out on the court, and she's working it inside. 7 points for Elizabeth Williams, but as we know, she can also dish the ball and play defense. How about 3 blocks in the first half for Williams? A defensive force and contributing offensively as well, with a total of 7 points for Duke as they lead by 4. Elizabeth Williams, what a star in the ACC, guys.
Yeah, 7 block shots total for the Duke Blue Devils. Bivens offensive rebound, has it taken away by Cheatham. Cheatham's had some big moments here in this first half. You're talking about defending champs. Duke hadn't won a title before 2000. Now they've won 8. So they have had a pretty good century so far.
Well, they had that string of 5 in a row, and they've won 3 of the last 4. They've been in 5 of the last 6 championship games, so they come to Greensboro ready to play.
Georgia Tech has missed their last 7 shots and now trails by 4 points.
Now Rashae Jackson is at the top of that zone. They like to mix it up, changing who's up there. Usually when Chelsea Gray was healthy, she was at the point. They're long and athletic in this zone. They do a nice job of shrinking the court, gapping it up.
Foul's going to be on Davis. And that will be her second foul. Davis, who has... Check that, it's on Johnson. Well, that's better news for Georgia Tech.
It's called displacing the cutter. It's a foul.
Now here is Davis. Vukovic commits that foul. It's her second, so now 3 players with 2 fouls for Georgia Tech. Vukovic, Taylor, and Bivens.
Gabrielle Holston has checked in for the first time for Georgia Tech. She wears number 40.
And again, Duke is in the bonus. Liston to the line, a great free throw shooter. 3 for 3 on the night. And that free throw puts her in double figures now with 10.
Every year she has added to her game, but she has consistently been a terrific shooter.
You saw there her season high at Miami, 29 this year.
You missed.
A rare miss.
That's news.
Georgia Tech needs to get their offense back in gear. Haven't heard from Davis or Marshall in a while. That's Davis. Hell ball and the arrow to Duke.
Oh, it is tough on that glass tonight, isn't it, Mike?
I'll tell you. Debbie Duke has, or Georgia Tech rather, has gone really deep on their bench. Gabrielle Holston is in. She's only played in 15 games. We've seen Kim Ellison in the game as well.
D, good D. Vertical, make them make a post move.
And Marshall in transition. There's that step back. And if that foul is on Bivens, it's on Holston. That's her first.
You want to play pressure D. You want to play multiple defenses, but if you continue to foul, you're putting one of the better free throw shooting teams on the line.
It's not been a great night, though. Just 52% from the line for Duke, as Peters missed her first attempt of the evening. Duke's now 10 of 19 from the free throw line.
Nice pull-up jump shot off the window.
And that's a big bucket. Georgia Tech had missed 10 in a row before Davis hit that shot.
She almost went nearly 6 minutes without a basket.
It's big for them to get going right here towards the end of the half.
Every time Tricia Liston shoots it, I think it's going in.
Nay. As you said, sometimes that's not her shot. Final minute of the half. And what a half it's been for Elizabeth Williams on both ends of the floor, defensively and offensively. Now with 9 points, 4 for 6 from the field, and 3 blocked shots officially.
Is this a lead guard right here? Is she going to be the point guard? That's twice we've seen Elizabeth Williams go end to end and finish.
Well,
going with her left hand too, Mike.
Nothing wrong with a 6'3" point guard.
That's all right with me. 6'3". I like big point guard. But you know, the point is that Georgia Tech is trying to take Duke out of their comfort zone and make them uncomfortable. That's not something you typically see Elizabeth Williams do, but she's making that play. So you've got to believe that you stick to the game plan, the wear down effect. When Duke gets under duress, can they still make those same plays? Because you still have to take Tricia Liston out. You have to defend Elizabeth Williams. Certain things aren't going to change, but you're making them uncomfortable, and they're making plays.
And Williams has been the difference maker in breaking that pressure defense by Georgia Tech. Again, final minute of the half. Georgia Tech has really cooled off offensively in the final 10 minutes.
One shot for Duke.
Yeah, shot clock is dark. Here's Johnson, who's played well.
You better know where Liston is.
Runs off a screen, and Georgia Tech is right there. Johnson's got a shot available and hits it.
Wow.
How about Kalia Johnson? Debbie, only 1-3 the entire season before tonight. She's got 2 here in the first half. What a lift she's given Duke for the 2nd game in a row.
Tricia Liston, all the attention, all the defense on the strong side. Ty Marshall completely lost her on the skip pass, and Johnson from the same spot on the floor knocks down her 2nd triple.
And let's go over to Christy.
Coach, did you like the patience of your team on the offensive end in the first half?
Yeah, I really did. That last play was spectacular patience. We tried to run something for P. She did a great job being patient, finding Kalia, and I love that for Kalia because no one's worked harder. That kid deserves so much, and so I'm just really happy for her and happy that they could have patience in that play.
What would you like to see in the second half?
A lot more of that, and better defense too. Georgia Tech's a great team. They rebound the ball very, very hard. We're having all sorts of physical issues in here, but we've got to have the stamina and endurance to go the distance.
Thanks, Coach. Tom?
Christy, thank you so much. It's a halftime lead of 35-26 for Duke. Elizabeth Williams, a force at both ends. 9 points in the first half. The Blue Devils with the lead. Halftime straight ahead. We're in attendance tonight for Game 3 at halftime, and a 9-point advantage for the Duke Blue Devils. Here up on the platform, high above courtside, Tom Wormy joined by Debbie Antonelli. And Debbie, you had the very special honor prior to the start of the season to sit down with some of the stars of this league and do the most basic thing there is, break down some tape and learn more about their games.
You know what, Tom, it's one of my favorite things to do, and the ACC is full of such great personalities with very good IQ. So Ty Marshall is our breakdown this time. Listen to the kind of competitor she is.
Performers in the ACC.
I think she's one of the most unheralded seniors in the entire country, and she will be a WNBA player because that fadeaway, fall off the cliff jump shot ain't no joke.
There is the second five as well. Markeisha Gatling, who had 28 points and a career high in a win against Syracuse earlier today. She did have to leave, however, with a knee injury. Natasha Howard and her Florida State Seminoles, despite a valiant effort, lose to Notre Dame, and they are out of the tournament. Debbie, thanks so much for joining us. We'll get a look at from the start of the second half this evening here in Greensboro. And Christy Winter-Scott standing by with Michelle Joseph, the head coach of the Jackets.
Coach, only shooting 26% in the first half, but yet you're not out of the ballpark at all. What needs to change in the second half?
Well, obviously we got to make shots, and Ty Marshall has to be a part of that. And, you know, we've relied on her all year long, and she missed some easy baskets early on, and I think she's just got to get her confidence. We get her going, it could be a different game. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, Christy. Ty Marshall just 2 for 9 in the first half, 6 points. Georgia Tech started the game 5 for 8, and then they only hit 5 of their next 30, Deb. They really went ice cold, as you see, and 26%. Not going to get it done in the tournament.
Not when Duke is shooting 50, and that is, you know, a team that is a very good offensive team. That's right on their average. The thing for Duke is they missed 11 shots. They offensive rebounded 8 of them. That will give you a high percentage because you're shooting high percentage shots in the paint.
Duke went on an 11-2 run to close the first half, and this is the Blue Devils' largest lead of the game, 35-26. Just underway. Mike Hawkwood, Debbie Antonelli, as the second half begins here, the third game on quarterfinal Friday. Scramble for a loose ball and held ball, possession arrow to Duke.
Based on what Michelle Joseph just told Christy Winter-Scott, I believe that Ty Marshall was supposed to get the ball on that play. You know, if they can get her into some dribble handoff situations, she could turn the corner. She is tough to deal with.
But she has, Debbie, missed some shots that we normally don't see her miss. Williams inside. What a game Elizabeth Williams is having.
Yeah, she is having a big game on the baseline on both ends of the floor.
11 points now for the junior from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Here's Bivens. Good job defensively by Trisha Liston there to get a hand on it.
Elizabeth Williams is doing such a good job. Look at her fighting for position right here. It's a foot fight for position to finish inside, and she is gaining the advantage with her quickness.
Inside Marshall. Still just a little off. Now 2 for 10 in the game. Numbers for Duke. Boy, Bivens with a hard foul on Rashae Jackson.
You know, Michelle Joseph went 10 deep into her bench, which playing a couple of players that we don't normally see.
We
in
talked
the
about that,
rotation.
yeah. I mean,
right.
Kim Ellison and Gabrielle Holston playing in the first half. Trying to find something that works offensively. Again, they started out great. But most of that half they were cold. Here's Haley Peters.
That's her second jump shot. She is 2 for 2 in the game. Good timeout by Michelle Joseph. They did not start the second half the way she expected.
Duke scores the first 4 points of the second half. Georgia Tech's got to figure out a way to get going. Made some big buckets in this game, but not many lately. And here's her shot-by-shot chart.
You can see she hasn't scored a basket. Her last basket was at 7:39 in the first half. And look at all of her shots on the left side of the floor. I mean, she had 28 points in the game last night, and she's got to find a way to get an easy 2. Maybe off her defense, maybe an offensive rebound. Something to see the ball go through the net so she can regain some confidence.
Her percentage has really fallen off. She's now 5 for 15 on the game.
And she takes 16 shots a game on the average.
We were tied in the first half at 24 since Duke has outscored Georgia Tech 15-2. Davis. Taylor the offensive rebound. Another possession for the Yellow Jackets. Open baseline. That's Ty Marshall. Maybe that'll get her going.
Duke changed, play a little man-to-man defense.
You're going to pay if you leave Marshall that open.
You got to put more pressure on the passer, because if you're going to play Elizabeth Williams one-on-one, she is going to shape up and she is going to get the ball. Duke is excellent at post entries.
That's the third foul on Nariah Taylor, so Taylor and Shayla Bivens now each with 3. Williams inside, can't hit it, but she's fouled. She'll go to the line for 2.
She is just eating up Taylor and Bivens on the inside. Too much quickness in that matchup favoring Duke. She just beats her to the spot.
Elizabeth Williams shooting 2.
There's Nariah Taylor, the 6'5" sophomore from Indianapolis. Williams gets the roll. She's 2 for 3 from the line.
She's made 70 free throws this season, and she's missed 55. She's left a lot of points on the floor. I hope she'll work on her free throw shooting for next season.
That's 56%. If you're a post player, that average needs to be higher than 56.
And as much as she gets fouled.
Inside Taylor. Back out to May. Back inside to Taylor again. Nariah Taylor. First field goal tonight.
Is that the first pump fake we've seen out of one of the bigs?
I believe it is. We haven't seen many points out of them, that's for sure. Liston on the drive. She draws the foul. Well, that's on Taylor. That's going to be her 4th.
And number 11, Nariah Taylor, her 4th.
Nice pass by Dawn May. There's the pump fake off the window. Good finish. But you know what? Elizabeth Williams wasn't lurking on that pump fake. That's when you really need it.
And Liston, who had a rare free throw miss in the first half. She's 3 for 4 from the line. Again, this is one of the best free throw shooters in the ACC at 86%.
She has the 4th best career free throw percentage in the history of this league. That's how good she is at the line.
Liston, a tough player, 19 points in that loss to North Carolina, the final regular season game. She was playing with a stiff back, but still went out there and had a good game.
Well, she's not 100% either. When you watch Duke warm up, which I watched them warm up today, they've got 8 players available to play. 3 of them are guards. The rest of them are post players. So they need Liston for many reasons on the floor, not just her scoring.
And how about Liston intercepting that pass? And Georgia Tech with the turnover. Here's Kalia Johnson. I think Johnson, the junior from Chester, Virginia. You heard Joanne P. McCauley talk about her at half. Played well. Peters can't hit it. Got her own rebound. Put it back.
Well, Georgia Tech is totally breaking down on defense right now. There's no ball pressure. There's not the same level of intensity. And they can't get back in this game if they don't get stops.
Debbie, that intensity, that is a great word, because you notice this is not the intensity that Georgia Tech started this game with. It's totally different, or what we saw last night against Virginia. Liston trying to feed it to Williams.
Watch Haley Peters right here. She's got a mismatch, but look at the help side for Georgia Tech. Kayla Davis has no idea that that play is happening behind her because she's not in good help side position. That's a great play, good seal by Peters, good work off the ball.
Peters had a great game in the next to last game of the regular season against Wake Forest. 22 points, 8 rebounds. Average is right at 11 a game. Boy, Davis's shot has just gone away from her. Hit 3 threes early in the first half. Since then, not a lot. And one. Rashae Jackson, and Duke is threatening to blow this thing open, now up 17. Dawn May picks up her second foul. 15:50 left. Georgia Tech's got to regroup. Rashae Jackson with a big bucket. Going to the line with ACC's Rookie of the Year, Diamond DeShields. Debbie, Carolina and Maryland's going to be fun. That game's coming up right after this one.
Can't wait. Maryland won on the road in Chapel Hill earlier. Start conference play.
Yeah, that was the conference opener.
We got a big game coming up next between Maryland and North Carolina. Alyssa Thomas, the 3-time ACC Player of the Year, against the Freshman of the Year, Diamond DeShields.
I was going to say 2 superstars in that game, and be fun to watch. A lot of Maryland fans here.
Maryland has played in all 36 of these ACC tournaments, and next year will be the first time without them. They've won more than anybody at 10 titles, and they won the first one in 1978.
Jackson completes the 3-point play. She's got 6 points. This the largest lead of the game now for Duke. Real dangerous time for Georgia Tech. Somehow, Debbie, they've got to get Ty Marshall involved in this offense.
I like this smaller lineup on the floor for Michelle Joseph. I think they can play inside out with this lineup. Now, I don't know what that was or why she took that shot off a timeout, but that was not a good choice at all by Georgia Tech.
That's a young lady that's only played in 10 games all year, Kimberly Ellison. Remember, Sydney Wallace, starting point guard, is out for Georgia Tech. Had a concussion. Missed the end of the regular season, missed last night's game against Virginia. Inside Jackson again.
And you know what? Mike Duke is having no trouble at all breaking any zone pressure by Georgia Tech.
The lead's now 20.
They actually have done an excellent job of not just beating the pressure, but looking to score on the backside. And it hasn't been Tricia Liston. She's the one that you worry about scoring against pressure. Full court pressure.
Marshall. What a job they've done slowing down Marshall. Marshall gets in the paint. The long arms of Elizabeth Williams are there, and I think that really affects you mentally as well as anything else.
Well, the question was, could Duke handle Georgia Tech's pressure? And that answer would be yes. The other part of it was, can Georgia Tech manage the Duke zone defense? Not being a three-point shooting team and not having your best three-point shooter. They've struggled.
Now there's the Ty Marshall that we've been seeing all season. Williams picks up her second foul.
Haley Peters overplays, and Ty Marshall finds a way to knife between the D. You know, and she's playing again with that tag hanging out of the back of her shirt, which she did last night. But when she did that, she scored 26 points. Gotta believe she's going to get hot here at some point if Georgia Tech's going to have a chance.
You know it's not a one-man show, but Ty Marshall has been the offense for this team. Marshall 11 points tonight. Look at Elizabeth Williams, offensive rebound, put it back. Offensive rebounding has been a big story in this game.
Coming into the game, Duke offensive rebounds, 46% of their missed shots, which is a very high percentage. They've done an excellent job tonight of rebounding their misses.
And there's a block by Cheatham, the 6'4" freshman. Got the ball handling from Peters, good ball movement. Knocked out of bounds, it'll still belong to Duke.
Leah Johnson checking in.
Duke's got 10 block shots. That was Georgia Tech's first block shot.
Well, there's a lot of contact on the block.
Debbie, this is a very physical game, it seems to me.
It's very physical on the front line. On the glass, it's very physical.
9 now for Haley Peters, as the lead is 21. Cheatham whistled for the fouls. They get the ball inside to Whiteside.
Team foul number 3. Georgia Tech returns with number 40.
Third foul on Cheatham, and
Duke will return.
Williams is going to get a break.
Also back on the hardwoods for the Blue Devils, Richey Jackson.
Jackson also back in, and Joanne P. McCauley was telling us that this is a team that needs games. It's basically a new team without the point guards, learning to play together, learning their positions.
Well, I think Duke can play pressure-free. You know, coming in here as the defending champs and going to the last 4 Elite Eights. They've lost a couple principal pieces of what they planned on having for postseason due to injury.
Holston at the line. This is only the 16th game that Gabrielle Holston has played in, the freshman from Margaret, Alabama. She is a 55% free throw shooter. Did not play the first time these two teams met in early January. Peters taken away by Ty Marshall. Again, she leads the team in steals. Marshall trying to take it all the way. She's fouled. Marshall will go to the line for 2.
The foul has been charged to Duke at number 14, Kalia Johnson.
Ty Marshall has seemed a bit frustrated at times in this game, and now trying to step up and take it over. Marshall just 4 for 13 from the field.
Well, 16 times she's been over the 20-point mark this season. She's a first-team All-ACC performer. Second in the league in steals.
Debbie over 2,000 points in a career. That's unheard of.
Only making 23s in her entire career and being a career 61% free throw shooter as well. She left a lot of points at the line.
Duke seems a little frenetic on offense, and Joanne P. McCauley is going to take a timeout. 12:43 to go first half. Well, this game was tied at 24, and then Duke went on a huge run.
Kalia Johnson hit a couple of threes in the first half. Elizabeth Williams working hard, rim to rim. Haley Peters having a better game. This is a veteran group. You know, there are 7 All-Americans still left on this roster, even though a couple of them are gone due to injury. And Tricia Liston is one of those high school All-Americans. I mean, Duke has the number 2 rated freshman recruiting class this year, the number 1 back-to-back the years before that, which includes the senior group, which was the number 1 recruiting class coming out of high school. There's plenty of talent.
You said plenty of talent left. Into the shot clock listed. And Georgia Tech comes up with a loose ball. They're going to need a lot of that. This game's still not out of reach. Inside to Vukovic, and McCravey Cooper will pick up her 3rd foul.
Her 3rd. Foul number 6. Elizabeth Williams and Jared Cheetah check in for the Blue Devils.
Vukovic left it short, and the freshman Cheatham down with it. Ahead to Liston. Count it. How many times we've seen Tricia Liston do that? Duke is rolling here in the second half of 56-37, 11:54 to go at the ACC Women's Tournament in Greece. Part by Hardee's Chicken Tender Box. 56-37, and the story, pretty simply in this game, is that Georgia Tech just has not been able to make shots. Take a look at our game summary. Second half field goals, Georgia Tech just 3 for 11. And look at points in the paint. Doubled up.
Williams is doing a terrific job of controlling the tempo, the game, the baseline, the rim.
Liston's at the line. Liston trying to get her 15th point.
Haley Peters rejoins the Blue Devils.
Well, this is the kind of opportunity that Duke has now for Kalia Johnson to be in charge, run the point, get some extra reps there.
You know, we talked to Coach McCauley before the game, and she says she thinks Kalia Johnson's future is as a point guard. Marshall. Boy, what a just tough night for one of the great players in Georgia Tech history, Ty Marshall. Cheatham has played well. Cheatham's got 9 rebounds in the game. That was her 5th point. And Cheatham got a hand on that. Got a hand on another one. Was going to be whistled for a foul.
The one thing I'll tell you about Ty Marshall, things aren't going her way, but she's not going to take a play off, Mike. She's going to continue to work on both ends. She's going to try to find a way to play through.
Marshall on the line.
Talked about how well Cheatham was playing. That was her 4th foul, so she's going to come out here with 11:08 to go.
Amber Henson returns for the Blue Devils.
Amber Henson back in the game.
Yellow Jackets, Kayla Davis.
Kayla Davis back in for Georgia Tech, and they're going to need points from her. Marshall hits them both. Now 15 points for Ty Marshall, but those 15 have been tough to come by tonight. Good ball movement. Henson follows.
What a pass by Williams. A terrific find.
Timeout.
Michelle Joseph's going to take a timeout.
A 30-second timeout.
That was Williams' 5th assist of the game.
She has done a terrific job and has been an impact player all over the court. Look at this. Jump pass. She sees the pass before the ball even gets in her hands. That is a terrific play by the junior.
You know, we've seen her run the floor, block shots, score, rebound, and 5 assists. What can she not?
I mean, we've seen other parts of her game that we're not used to seeing. Handle off the glass, all the way to the middle of the floor, handle against pressure. Not used to seeing that. She hasn't had to do those things when you have true point guards on the floor. Well, without a true point guard and what we're going with as a lead guard for Duke, she's taking on a little more responsibility and helping.
Now it's Ty Marshall who leads the offense for Georgia Tech. Vukovic for 3. Davis into paint. Kayla Davis, who hit 3 3-pointers early and looked like she was going to have another explosive night. Her dad, Antonio Davis, longtime NBA player here tonight.
Mariah Taylor checking in.
Debbie, it's not easy what Duke is doing to totally retool the team and find new chemistry and players like even like Haley Peters, who's having to move from the 4 to the 3. A lot of adjustments being made late in this season. And that's Peters inside.
You've got skilled basketball players that are veteran and experienced and have big game experience. They know what it's like to come here and plan and plot to win a championship.
They are the defending champs. Holston the rebound.
And they managed the Georgia Tech pressure without issue. And see, with that zone presses, they just pass through or over the top. They play the game on angles, which is the way you're supposed to play.
Debbie, you made the point that a lot of players are seeing time that have not in the past. That was Holston's 5th field goal of the entire season. And there she commits the foul on Haley Peters. Well, every time Georgia Tech has gotten a bucket this half, Duke has had an answer and then some.
I mean, you just let Haley Peters step across your face. She gets great position. She is a back-to-the-basket scorer. That's just too easy for somebody like Haley Peters.
A senior from Red Bank, New Jersey, having another solid outing. Now 14 points. Haley Peters, the leading rebounder on this Duke team. That foul's going to be on Amber Henson.
Number 30, Amber Henson, her first. That is team foul number 8.
And Georgia Tech's in the bonus.
Mariah Taylor on the line, 1-1.
Mariah Taylor, who scored a field goal in the first half. And it was Taylor who almost cost Georgia Tech big time last night after getting a technical foul called on her. And Virginia had a shot or a chance to win the game to be here today. Weren't able to get off a good shot. And it was a 1-point Georgia Tech win last night.
Well, Michelle Joseph, I spoke to her before the game about that play, and she said when we got in the locker room after we won, and she said the first thing she asked him was, what did we learn today? You know, she just generated her passion in the wrong direction. It was towards the Virginia bench after she made a big block.
Liston has it knocked away by Davis. Good defensive play by the freshman. Good job by Johnson getting in the way of that pass. It'll still belong to the Yellow Jackets, who are still down 21 with just under 9 to go. There's that step back from Marshall. That shot just has not been there tonight.
You see Ty Marshall trying to keep everybody connected. That's what I'm talking about. She's not going to quit.
That will place Kayla Davis on the line.
This Georgia Tech team got hot in February. They won 6 of 8 in the month of February. The 2 losses in the month were to Notre Dame and Maryland. Then they came to the ACC tournament, beat Virginia in their first game last night, but an uphill battle here as number 2 seed Duke has looked pretty good.
First time they ever beat Virginia in the ACC tournament.
Peters.
See, that zone pressure, they just throw over the top. That's just too easy.
Haley Peters, really a solid player, and I think, to me, that's a good way to describe her. She's solid in so many areas. Not spectacular all the time, but gets the job done. Davis can't hit it.
She's their extra effort player. She's extra effort on the glass. She's a terrific screener. She works without the ball. She posts up to occupy space. She does a lot of things that do not show up on the stat sheet.
Duke has made it to the championship game 5 of the last 6 years. Can they do it this year? A lot of people think there might be a Notre Dame-Duke matchup in the finals, but a long way to go before then, and a lot to be said.
Well, it's not going to be easy for NC State, and it's certainly going to be really difficult if Markeisha Gatling is not able to go tomorrow. I mean, Notre Dame is an absolute monster.
Well, we saw that today. They played Florida State. The game was tied at 11, and it was like an explosion of offense.
It was actually 12-11 Florida State at one point, and then they just, I think it was, they scored 17 of their last 20 shots in the first half after going 0 for 6. That's a machine, Hog.
It was unbelievable. How many times have we seen that great ball movement and Williams or Jackson scoring down in the paint? Davis. The shot that was falling early, not now. And up and fouled is Rashay Jackson. Haley Peters is having herself quite a half. 16 on the game, 13 of them here in the second half, and Duke is up big.
Just over 7.5 minutes to go in this game. Coming up, it will be Maryland and North Carolina, a rematch from the semifinals a season ago, and it features the Player of the Year in the ACC. Alyssa Thomas ranked in the top 4 in rebounding, scoring, and assists. And Christy Winter-Scott, moments ago, caught up with Brenda Fries, the Terrapins head coach.
Coach, your first game, quarterfinal Friday. You have to be focused. The last year for Maryland being in the ACC.
Well, you know, I mean, how poetic that we are the last game to finally tip off in the quarterfinal game. We're excited. We're embracing the moment, and we just hope to be able to come out and play some of our best basketball.
And what's it going to take against a team like North Carolina?
Well, you know, we played them a long time ago, first game of the conference race, but they're so athletic. You know, you got to be able to rebound. Obviously, first and foremost, you got to take care of the basketball. I mean, they do a tremendous job defensively, switching up their different defenses. And play Maryland basketball, we need to run in transition.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, Maryland is playing some of the best basketball of the season right now, Mike. This is one of the hottest teams. They've averaged 86 points in their last 4 games. That's a lot of offense.
And I liked what she said, we're embracing the moment. So many are talking about, well, Maryland, this is it for them. And you know what? They're not playing with that kind of an emotion. They're playing with emotion. We're here to win. We're embracing it.
Well, I think you embrace every moment now with time ticking down on one of the all-time greats in the history of this league, Alyssa Thomas. The most powerful player in the women's game, Mike. The men's team at Maryland nicknamed her sophomore year Baby Bron Bron. That's a reference to LeBron.
I'll go with that.
That's a real deal, man. That ain't no joke.
I know she's on your ain't no joke team.
Well, she couldn't be because she's just too good. I had to give somebody else an opportunity to be on the team. But yes, she'd be on every team if
yeah, there's not a team. There's not a team she's not on.
I got to show a little discipline.
I'm glad to hear that. You mentioned all the WNBA scouts that are here, and I'm sure that's one person that they would be excited to see on their team.
Well, they're excited about Alyssa Thomas and Kayla McBride at Notre Dame, and Natalie Achanwa is obviously going to get drafted, and then of course Natasha Howard at Florida State. There's another senior, Ty Marshall, in this game.
It's been a balanced attack for Duke tonight. 4 players in double figures. Liston, best 3-point shooter in the country, misses. Dawn May can't hit at the other end, and Kalia Johnson continues to impress. Offensive rebounding, again important for the Duke Blue Devils. They'll get another opportunity at it. And they convert the 3.
Haley Peters continues to pour it on.
That's just her 16th three-pointer of the year. Taylor scoring for Georgia Tech. Elizabeth Williams, Tricia Liston, Haley Peters.
I think Georgia Tech sorely missed Sydney Wallace today. I mean, just absolutely missed her 3-point shooting and her ball pressure, her handle.
And those players I mentioned, all in double figures. And what a frustrating night it's been for Michelle Joseph. Tough feeling for a coach when your team just can't make shots. Shots that on another night they would make.
You know, I expected Georgia Tech's defense to be disruptive and to cause havoc, make Duke really uncomfortable, but Duke didn't look uncomfortable at all.
No, they didn't. give Tricia Liston and Kalia Johnson and Rashae Jackson. All three of them shared, I guess, what are you calling this position now?
The lead guard.
The lead guard position. Okay, the lead guard. They shared that spot. They've done well. Here's Jackson all the way. Loose balls, all of them going to Duke. Time a critical factor now as it's beginning to look more and more like Duke will be playing on semifinal Saturday. This will not, though, Debbie, be the end of the season for Georgia Tech.
Oh, no, I know. I believe they're an NCAA tournament team. You go 9-7 in this league. Played a tough non-conference schedule. I think Michelle Joseph has already done enough.
Haley Peters a moment ago just got her 10th rebound. She's now got a double-double. 6th of the season for Peters, 17th in her career, and it's all Duke here. 3:58 left. Star to watch in the second half has been Haley Peters. 7 for 11, 16 points in the half, 19 on the game. A double-double tonight, Debbie.
Well, she's been terrific. Mid-range jump shot. She's been on the glass. Her post-up ability, taking advantage on the interior. I thought the front line for Duke was really the difference in the game, and it started with Elizabeth Williams, and it's finishing with Haley Peters.
And our star to watch at the beginning of the game, Kayla Davis of Georgia Tech, just fouled out before we went to break. She leaves with 16 points.
That's the 5th time she's fouled out this season. After her 28-point performance last night.
14 for Rashae Jackson, who's had a solid performance. Senior has played well. Debbie, remember how we talked about Duke struggling from the line? And there's Marshall, can't hit it in the first half, really struggling. They're 11 for 11 from the free throw line in the second half. It's been big for Duke.
Oh, they're shooting 53% from the floor for the game. That would be outstanding.
And this is a team that averages almost 82 points a game, and looks now like they're going to get there. And Coach McCauley told us before the game that this is not a team that she has designed to score 80 a game.
Well, the tempo was such that with Georgia Tech's pressure, it opens up the court, it opens up space, and Duke was able to capitalize on that by playing off the pass and playing the game on angles to beat that pressure and score on the backside.
The foul has been charged to Georgia Tech at number 40, Gabrielle Holston.
Gabrielle Holston picks up that foul, her second. Well, you look ahead a little bit to tomorrow night. And the winner of this game, of course, plays the winner of North Carolina and Maryland. And I think whichever team wins that game coming up, it's going to be a good game with Duke.
Well, Duke was swept by Notre Dame and by North Carolina, and their 5th loss was earlier in the season to Connecticut. So they don't have a bad loss. They've got a good RPI, good strength of schedule. Of course, the injuries will be factored in terms of their NCAA seeding. But it depends on how they finish, and if they're playing well, maybe it might help their seeding. I'm sure it will.
A lot also depends what might happen the next 2 days. That shot is blocked by Henson. Amber Henson, who's battled a lot of injuries in her career. Marshall picked up the foul, and the other way, Amber Henson will go to the line. Henson actually started the last game against North Carolina as Duke had experimented with a very big lineup on the floor.
Amber Henson has battled knee issues her whole career. Love to see her play healthy.
Haley Peters gets a nice hand from the Duke fans in attendance. Her night is done. So too Rashae Jackson.
Back on the floor.
Yeah, Henson was a high school All-American, former Florida High School Player of the Year, and you know her brother played at North Carolina.
That would be a house divided, wouldn't it?
I'll tell you. Well, it's happened before. I remember the Capels it happened with,
right.
You know. Several times there's been a house divided. Ellison. And walk-on Jenna Frush, junior from Durham, into the game. She is a crowd favorite when she gets in. She's hit 1 field goal on the year, a 3, and I understand that Cameron went absolutely crazy when it went in.
Hey, she's at practice every day. She's putting in the same workout that the other players are putting in. It's nice to see her get a few minutes in the ACC tournament.
And that's Jenna Frush leaving it short. And strategically, if you're Joanne P. McCauley, you could conceivably play 3 days in a row. So if you feel you've got the game, now you're going to go ahead and get the starters out, get as much rest as possible. Frida Fudemark is into the game for Georgia Tech. Missed that shot. Oh, Frush looked at it again there and thought better of it. Passing aside, she's got a big smile on her face. What a thrill it's got to be a walk-on and get in. It's the ACC tournament. You're out on the floor.
Same for the Georgia Tech kids, too. They don't get to play very much, but some of them got quality time tonight.
Yeah, Ellison and Holston. That's Holston right there. Still to come, it will be North Carolina and Maryland as we're under a minute to play here. Duke will advance to semifinal Saturday. Well, we've got 3 teams that have punched their ticket so far. NC State, Notre Dame, and now Duke. Who will that 4th team be? And the look on Ty Marshall's face, as you might expect, not a happy one. You said it, Debbie. She's a competitor.
Yeah, the one thing that you can always appreciate and know when you have a Georgia Tech game with Ty Marshall in it is that she's going to play hard for every possession that she's out there. The all-time leading scorer in the history of their program, a true competitor,
and a senior.
And a fighter, and a senior, and this will be her last trip to the ACC tournament.
The foul has been charged to Georgia Tech's number 10, Katarina Vukovic.
Sophomore year, they lost in the championship game to Maryland. She came in here last year, played hard, played well. Played really well last night against Virginia, combining with Kayla Davis for 52 points.
Debbie Cheatham, who got that rebound a moment ago, she's got 12 rebounds tonight. That is her career high, or ties it. She had 12 against Wake Forest. Fudemark has her shot blocked by another freshman. You know, there's some pretty good freshmen on this Duke team, and they've been forced into duty, some of them, and they've really answered the call. Duke, as the seconds tick away, is going to come away with a 30-point dominating 82-52 win, and now they will await the winner of North Carolina and Maryland. They have won 37 straight now over Georgia Tech, Debbie. Wow,
that's incredible.
That's an incredible record.
That's a great run, and what a great job Duke did today, showing up ready to play. And with all the adjustments that they've had to make due to injury and
Haley Peters led the way, 19 points, 10 rebounds. 15 for Trisha Liston. Rashay Jackson with 14. Elizabeth Williams also in double figures with 15 in the game. 13 blocked shots total for the Duke Blue Devils. That's an ACC tournament record, Debbie. I thought defensively Duke was absolutely outstanding in it. You talk about Georgia Tech not making shots. You've got to give part of that credit to the Duke Blue Devils. Let's go over to Christy.
Haley, your team was down by 9 points at halftime. What changed for you and your team in the second half?
We just were aggressive. I think we just moved the ball pretty well. We executed well, played good defense the whole game, and we just stayed with it. We were patient and aggressive, and we made a good run in the second half.
You've had some injuries on your team, and players have bumped over a position, including you, from the 3 and the 4. You're switching back and forth in those spots. What does it say for the flexibility of your team in order to do things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's done a great job just embracing it, and everybody enjoys the challenge and just expanding their game, and that's how we take it, and everybody's doing a great job with it. So,
moving forward to tomorrow in the semifinals, you lost to Carolina twice this season, but you beat Maryland. What challenges do you see moving forward to those two teams, either one of them?
I mean, both those teams are great teams, and either game will be a great game. So we're going to need to be tough on the boards, tougher than we were tonight, and just play our game and keep making steps forward.
Well, great game today. Good luck tomorrow. Mike, Debbie?
All right, thanks, Christy. I don't know how they can play much tougher than they played, because I thought, you look at the points they scored, that's impressive. But defensively, to me, they just completely shut down Georgia Tech.
I think they controlled the baseline. I thought they did a terrific job with starting with Elizabeth Williams, blocking shots, contending on the glass, and then making plays on the inside, whether it was in their post-up game and their interior passing, or it was in their transition ability, breaking the Georgia Tech pressure. I thought Georgia Tech's pressure didn't affect Duke at all. Duke did whatever they wanted on the offensive end, and that's why they won by 30.
All right, big win tonight for Duke, and the winning coach, Joanne P. McCauley, has climbed upstairs, and she's with Tom Werman.
I think Coach P has a little bit of voice left as we talk after the victory here on quarterfinal Friday. Coach, really a complete effort from your team. You had the halftime lead, but you really cranked up the heat in the second half.
Yeah, really proud of our team. We're trying to play 40 minutes. I thought Haley Peters did a fantastic job. I thought she really played 40 minutes. O'Dara Cheatham comes to mind with some incredible rebounding and some great team defense overall. I know you mentioned we had 13 blocks. That's good because that means people are moving their feet, but they're being very aggressive.
I know that on the defensive end, that's where a lot of you coaches stress. That's where everything begins. And as you mentioned, those 13 blocks only comes from hard work on that end of the floor.
Yeah, it really does. And we've been working on moving our feet more and trying to get in position more. You don't want to bail people out with fouls. Georgia Tech is a great team, and they're hard to defend. So it took a lot of concentration and effort by everybody to defend them.
I want to know about the resilience of your team, because you lose a couple of great players in Gray and Jones. But yet you continue to forge forward, and here you are going to the semifinals of this tournament.
Yeah, we're really excited. We've had our share of lessons that we've all learned, really, and it's been a long road, and it's been a sad road, and a lot of tears. And I think this team has decided that they're ready to be a new team and reinvent a little bit and play with a lot of poise and confidence, and that's what they did tonight.
Could be some tears of joy in the next couple of days for the Duke program. We will see. Coach, congratulations on the victory, and welcome to the semifinals at the ACC tournament.
Thank you very much.
Coach Joanne P. McCauley and her Duke Blue